Hi Mortgage Heroes, Andy Cruz here in Business Development, and this is Monday Mortgage Minute. Welcome back to a new week. We are quickly careening to the end of May. It seems so weird to say it's already the end of the 5th month of the year, but there's been so much that's happened this year. We've talked about the Federal Reserve and their monetary policy decisions. We've talked about their rate hikes. We've talked about inventory, and we've talked about home prices being at their all-time highs and equity being through the roof. Now, all these things coming together is really painting a picture of what we're looking at next. Now, as you can expect, when rates go up, that it costs more to borrow that money for that dream home that you want. Now, at the same time, the price of that dream home is at its all-time high. Now, those two things can only play together nicely for so long before affordability becomes a real issue. Now, last week we saw a little bit of a dip in the rates, and that was great for those of you who locked your loan when the rates got better on those specific days. Now, already starting this week, rates are back where they began before they hit that dip last week. So I want to re-emphasize to all of you watching that whether you're in a purchase loan or a refinance, stay in close contact with your loan officer and your processing team to make sure that when it's time to lock your loan, you're doing it on a day where the rates are in your favor. Now, looking forward, putting on a little bit of a crystal ball, looking at what we see ahead, I think we're going to start seeing sellers who are waiting on the sidelines to list their homes start to do so if they haven't already. Now, on one side, they're going to have the advantage of selling their house at an all-time high. On the other, they're going to be displaced from a home and have to find one. What a lot of people are doing that didn't do it in 2020 or 2021 are still looking out of state. There are still many people that we know who are selling their house now and looking out of California, and there are still a handful of people who are looking to just move up into a new neighborhood or make a more lateral move on the type of home that they have. So the cost of money here is really what is throwing a wrench in the whole thing. You know, when rates are in the mid 2s and the low 3s, you know, that paints one picture. But when they're in the high 4s and the low 5s, that's a completely different financial scenario. And so it's making buyers rethink or maybe even renegotiate the type of contracts they want to see when it comes to buying a house. Now, of course, that puts pressure on sellers who really want to sell at the top, but the buyers they're looking at need to be able to afford it. So there's this, I'll say, semi-healthy tension between those two things where there has to be kind of a meeting in the minds in the middle somewhere on what the price of the house can be, what the buyer's willing to pay for it, and their affordability in order to take that down and get a mortgage for it. So we're starting to see a much more clearer picture of what that looks like now as a result of several weeks of these increased mortgage rates that we've had in the marketplace. Now, everything is pointing to the Fed's June and July decisions on interest rates. Now, just a couple weeks ago, the idea was, oh, okay, we're gonna have interest rate hikes throughout 2022. And until they say otherwise, that's kind of the game plan. However, there's starting to be some chatter that if we continue rate hikes to combat inflation, and we do this every single time the Fed meets for the rest of the year, that might actually be now too much too fast, where it was too little to come to the market. Now it might be too much too fast and create such a shock to the system that it could really threaten a lot of the other financial markets that we rely on as consumers. So I'm starting to see right now there's to be some chatter about, well, maybe the Fed should do their June hike as planned and then take a step back and give it a moment to see what happens. Now, I hadn't heard that until just this weekend, but if that sentiment gets some more legs and more people jump on board with that idea, the Fed might be forced to listen. You know, with the price of goods and services going up so quickly for most people, affordability, not just in housing, but in everything else, is becoming a real issue. And so it is likely that we could see the June hike as planned. And then it might be when we get to July, they could pause for a second and take a breath and see what the economy is doing as a whole and see where there's price pressure still, where there's wage pressure for the labor force, and then make a determination on whether they should proceed on this course of action or they should take a different approach. All this, of course, is to mean that, you know, you taking your situation and your scenario and looking at it through the lens of what is right for you in real estate and mortgage is paramount right now. You know, there's a lot of things you can read, a lot of people you can talk to that are your peers, that maybe their situation is their situation, but not all mortgage situations are equal. Not all real estate situations are equal. So if you are watching this and you are planning a summer move or you are planning a summer refinance to redo your backyard, remodel your home, take a vacation somewhere, pay off your debt, please start talking to us about that right now. We're right around the corner from June, July, and August. We know that a lot of you that got kids are going to be having your kids home for the summer and they're going to be on break. And a lot of times in San Diego, the summer is when you see the most real estate activity trade hands, and you see a lot of people start executing on that cash out refinance in order to take their equity that they've achieved and apply it towards some other part of their life that they want to make progress in. Well, that is it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please feel free to share this video with people you know, like, and trust. And also make sure you leave a comment, send us a direct message, or shoot us an email or phone call. Let us know how we can help you make the most of real estate and mortgage in 2022. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.